The trailer for The Summer I Turned Pretty, Season 3, Episode 8 wastes no time in showing us the consequences of Belly's reckless actions. Episode 7 ended with her breaking down after Conrad's shocking love confession, a confession that has been years in the making. For so long, Belly begged for these words, dreamed about them, and now that they've finally come, instead of bringing her joy, they have unleashed total chaos. In the new episode, we are about to see the full weight of her choices come crashing down, and the result will be nothing short of brutal. Belly stands at the center of this storm, pretending she can control the damage, but the truth is she can't. And worse, she doesn't even realize how much harm she is about to cause both Jeremiah and Conrad. It's as if Belly is convinced that she can keep juggling these feelings, keep denying her heart, and somehow still walk down the aisle with Jeremiah. But reality doesn't work that way. You can't promise forever to one brother while secretly craving the other. You can't build a marriage on half-truths and hidden tears. And yet, that's exactly what Belly is trying to do, and it will destroy everything. We know Jeremiah is already walking into this wedding with insecurities. He's always been in Conrad's shadow, always been the second choice, always been the one who has to fight for scraps of love and attention. Now he's forced to marry Belly while knowing, deep down, that Conrad is still in her heart. And to make matters worse, Conrad isn't even hiding it anymore. His confession in the last episode wasn't just a slip of the tongue. It was the raw, desperate truth of someone who has loved Belly since childhood and simply couldn't hold it in anymore. Jeremiah knows this, Conrad knows this, Belly knows this, everyone knows this. But still, Belly insists on pushing forward with a marriage that was doomed from the start. It's heartbreaking to watch because she's not only hurting Jeremiah, but also ripping apart the fragile bond between two brothers who have already suffered so much loss. The trailer hints at explosive confrontations, with Jeremiah demanding to know exactly what happened between Conrad and Belly stumbling through excuses that no one believes. And honestly, how could anyone believe her? She spent an entire season proving she doesn't even know what she wants. One minute she's laughing with Jeremiah, the next she's crying over Conrad, and then she's back to pretending everything is fine. But things are not fine. They are far from fine. Jeremiah is on edge, his anger bubbling beneath the surface, ready to erupt. Conrad is drowning in guilt, but also refusing to step back because his love for Belly is too strong. And Belly, poor, confused Belly, thinks she can control this chaos by telling half-truths, by hiding her real feelings, by rushing into vows that mean nothing when her heart belongs elsewhere. This isn't just messy, this is catastrophic. And let's not forget the cheating scandal still hanging over Jeremiah. Even though Belly shockingly forgave him, the audience hasn't. Conrad hasn't. Jeremiah's own friends mocked him about it, and his silence spoke louder than any denial could. That silence told us he doesn't respect Belly enough to fight for her reputation. It told us that guilt is eating away at him, and it will come back to haunt him at the worst possible moment, right before his wedding. Belly can act like she's over it, but deep down she isn't. No girl forgets something like that, especially when Conrad is standing right there as the better man, the man who has always loved her without betrayal. Sooner or later, the truth about how Belly really feels will slip out, and when it does, Jeremiah will break, not just as a fiancé, but as a brother. This is why Episode 8 will be so brutal to watch. It's not just about Belly choosing between Jeremiah and Conrad anymore. It's about the destruction of trust, the collapse of family bonds, and the end of innocence for all three of them. The trailer makes it clear that Jeremiah won't hold back his rage this time. He's tired of being the backup option. He's tired of pretending everything is fine. And when he finally snaps, the fallout will be devastating. Belly will realize too late that her actions don't just hurt her, they shatter everyone around her. Conrad will be left isolated, Jeremiah will be consumed by anger, and Belly will be the one responsible for breaking two brothers beyond repair. The Summer I Turned Pretty, Season 3. Episode 8 is not a love story anymore. It's a tragedy. And the girl at the center of it all doesn't even see the destruction she's causing until it's far too late. Episode 8 does not simply continue where Episode 7 left off. It rips the bandage off every wound and forces the characters to confront pain they've been running from since the very first season. Belly walks into this episode thinking she can somehow manage the situation, But the truth is that everything is already spiraling out of her control. Jeremiah is not the same carefree boy we met in season 1. He's older now, angrier, and far more insecure. Every word from Conrad feels like a dagger, and every glance from Belly feels like a test. He knows she's hiding something. He can feel it in the way she looks away when his name is mentioned, in the hesitation before she says, "I love you," in the fact that her tears fall harder for Conrad than for him. Jeremiah isn't stupid. He knows he's fighting against a ghost of a love story that began long before he ever had a chance, and that realization makes him dangerous, because love mixed with insecurity often leads to rage. In episode 8, we'll see Jeremiah's mask crack for real, and it won't be pretty. The first look makes it clear that the brother's fragile peace is about to shatter completely. Conrad, who has spent 3 seasons bottling up his emotions, finally lets them spill out. His confession wasn't a mistake. It was the truth of a boy who has loved too long and too deeply to keep silent anymore. But for Jeremiah, that truth is poison. He can't stand the idea that Conrad still has power over Belly's heart, even as she's about to marry him. For Jeremiah, it's not just about Belly anymore. It's about being second place, yet again, in every part of his life. Their mother always trusted Conrad more. Teachers respected Conrad more. Even Belly, the one girl Jeremiah thought he could have, is still tethered to Conrad by invisible strings. Episode 8 pushes Jeremiah to the breaking point, and when he breaks, it will be violent. But before the explosion, there is the calm. The painful, suffocating calm where Belly tries to hold everything together. She tells herself she can still marry Jeremiah if she just buries her feelings deep enough. If she convinces herself that Jeremiah's love is enough, even if her own love is divided. But that's the thing. Marriage isn't about being loved, it's about loving in return. And Belly doesn't truly love Jeremiah the way she loves Conrad. She may care for him, she may even want to protect him from pain, but that isn't the same as loving him. The audience knows it. Conrad knows it. Jeremiah knows it. The only one still in denial is Belly herself. And that denial makes every decision she takes in episode 8 reckless and destructive. Then comes the truth Jeremiah can no longer ignore. He demands to know what happened between Belly and Conrad, and Belly, caught in her own lies, admits that Conrad confessed his love for her. In that moment, Jeremiah's world collapses. It's not just about the confession, it's about the years of secrets, the Christmas Belly spent with Conrad, the looks they thought no one noticed, the quiet moments Jeremiah always felt but could never prove. Now it's all confirmed, and his fiancée, the girl he trusted, the girl he thought chose him over his brother, has been carrying this truth in silence. It's betrayal on every level. Jeremiah doesn't just feel hurt, he feels humiliated, and humiliation is far more dangerous than pain. Because pain can be endured, but humiliation demands revenge. Conrad, of course, isn't blameless. For years he held back, thinking his silence would protect Belly, that denying his feelings would allow Jeremiah a fair chance. But love isn't something you can silence forever. By the time Conrad finally speaks, it's too late. Jeremiah sees his timing not as sincerity, but as sabotage, a desperate move to steal Belly away on the eve of the wedding. To Jeremiah, it looks like Conrad doesn't care about him at all, that Conrad is willing to tear apart their bond just to win Belly's heart. And even if Conrad insists that isn't true, Jeremiah won't believe him. Not anymore. This is where the trailer hints at the darkest turn yet. The confrontation that everyone has been waiting for since the first episode of the series. Jeremiah, burning with anger, goes after Conrad. And unlike their previous arguments, this time it won't be words. This time it's physical. This time Jeremiah's fist finally lands on the brother he's envied his entire life. It's brutal, it's raw, and it's tragic. Because as satisfying as it may feel for Jeremiah in that split second, the damage it causes will last forever. Once a brother strikes another over love, over betrayal, there's no going back. There's no forgiveness deep enough to erase that moment. And where is Belly in all of this? Crying, begging, trying to stop the chaos she created, yet powerless to fix it. She thought she could control this love triangle, that she could balance her feelings like scales and choose the one who seemed safer, easier. But love doesn't work like that. Love demands honesty, and Belly has been anything but honest, with Jeremiah, with Conrad, and with herself. Episode 8 makes her face the reality she's been avoiding. She can't marry Jeremiah while her heart still beats for Conrad. But admitting that truth now won't heal anyone. It will only break them further. Because the time for honesty has passed, and all that's left is destruction. The saddest part of all is that Belly doesn't even see the full weight of what she's doing until it's too late. She thought she was choosing love, but in reality, she was choosing heartbreak. She thought she could protect Jeremiah by marrying him, but instead, she's destroying him. She thought she could hold on to Conrad by denying her feelings, but instead, she's pushing him away for good. By the end of episode 8, nothing will be the same. Jeremiah will never trust Belly again. Conrad will carry guilt that he finally confessed at the worst possible moment. And Belly will realize that in trying to love both brothers, she has ended up losing them both. That is the tragedy of The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3, Episode 8. It isn't a happy ending for anyone. It's a story of loss, betrayal, and the brutal cost of indecision. As the storm of Episode 8 builds, the most haunting part is not just the fights, not just the screaming, or even the betrayal. It's the silence that follows. That heavy, suffocating silence that says more than words ever could. After Jeremiah unleashes his fury on Conrad, there is a moment where everyone realizes the truth. The Fisher brothers are no longer brothers in the way they once were. A line has been crossed. A wound has been opened that will never truly heal. For Conrad, the punch is not just about physical pain. It's confirmation of what he feared all along, that loving Belly would cost him his relationship with Jeremiah. And for Jeremiah, striking Conrad is not just about anger, it's about years of insecurity boiling over, years of feeling like second best, finally erupting into violence. It's the moment where the love triangle stops being about romance and becomes about destruction, and Belly is right in the middle of it. The trailer and first look tease Belly's frantic attempts to hold everything together, but the truth is, she is the reason everything is falling apart. She wants to believe she's the victim of impossible circumstances, that she never asked for two brothers to love her, that she didn't mean for all of this to happen. But deep down, Belly knows she's made choices that led them here. She let Jeremiah believe he was her safe choice, her forever, while secretly yearning for Conrad. She let Conrad believe that his silence was enough, only to shatter him when she ran back to Jeremiah. Every time she had the chance to be honest, she chose comfort over truth. And now, the cost of her indecision is being paid not just by her, but by the people she claims to love the most. Jeremiah's anger grows more dangerous when he realizes Conrad isn't backing down. For all of his guilt, Conrad refuses to lie anymore. He admits he still loves Belly, and that's something Jeremiah cannot bear to hear. To Jeremiah, that confession feels like theft. Stealing his fiancée, stealing his happiness, stealing the one thing he thought was finally his after a lifetime of coming second. The rage pushes Jeremiah to say things he may never be able to take back, words that cut deeper than fists ever could. He questions Conrad's loyalty as a brother, mocks his timing, accuses him of selfishness. And the tragic part? Conrad doesn't fight back. He just takes it, his silence saying what words cannot. That Jeremiah is right to feel betrayed, but that it doesn't make Conrad's love any less true. Belly watches this all unfold, and for the first time, she seems to realize just how much damage she has done. The tears, the panic, the desperate attempts to separate them, none of it can undo what has already happened. When Jeremiah looks at her now, he doesn't see the girl he loves. He sees the girl who betrayed him, who chose his brother in secret, even as she promised herself to him. And when Conrad looks at her, he doesn't see hope anymore. He sees the reason he and his brother are tearing each other apart. For Belly, it's the nightmare she never imagined. The two people she loves most in the world now despise each other, and it's all because of her. But the destruction doesn't stop there. The fallout begins to spread to everyone around them. Taylor, Belly's best friend, sides with Jeremiah, furious at Conrad for confessing his feelings so close to the wedding. She sees it as selfish, cruel, even manipulative. Her words cut Conrad even further, isolating him not just from his brother, but from Belly's entire circle of support. Conrad, who has always carried himself like the strong one, the protector, finally cracks under the weight of it all. For once, he doesn't fight back, doesn't argue, doesn't defend himself. He simply walks away, leaving behind a trail of broken hearts and shattered relationships. And that's the part that hurts the most. Watching Conrad, the boy who has endured so much loss already, lose his family, his love, and his hope, all in one devastating blow. Jeremiah, on the other hand, doesn't feel relief after lashing out. Instead, he feels emptier than ever. Anger may have fueled him in the moment, but when the dust settles, he realizes he's no closer to having Belly's whole heart. In fact, he's further away than ever, because even after everything, even after the fight, even after the accusations, Conrad's love for Belly still lingers in the air like smoke after a fire. Jeremiah knows he can't compete with that kind of love, not because he isn't good enough, but because Belly has never truly chosen him, not with her whole heart. And no matter how hard he tries, no matter how many promises she makes, he will never escape the shadow of Conrad. This is what makes episode 8 so haunting. There are no winners here. Every character loses something. Jeremiah loses his trust in Belly and his bond with Conrad. Conrad loses his brother and the girl he's loved for years. Belly loses both of them, left with nothing but the guilt of knowing she caused it all. It's not just a love triangle anymore, it's a story of collapse, of how lies and half-truths can destroy even the strongest connections. The trailer doesn't show us everything, but the pieces it does reveal make it clear this is the breaking point. After this, nothing will ever be the same for Belly, Jeremiah, or Conrad. And the saddest part is that it didn't have to be this way. If Belly had been honest from the beginning, if she had admitted her true feelings instead of trying to force herself into the role of Jeremiah's perfect fiancé, maybe things could have been different. Maybe the brothers wouldn't be at war. Maybe the wedding wouldn't be hanging by a thread. Maybe love wouldn't feel like a weapon instead of a gift. But that's not the path she chose. Instead, she walked blindly into disaster. And now everyone she loves is bleeding because of it. The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3. Episode 8 isn't just another chapter in Belly's story. It's the chapter where the fairy tale dies, replaced by the harsh truth that sometimes love doesn't bring people together. Sometimes it tears them apart. But here is where everything spirals even darker. Because Belly's choice in episode 8 is not only about love, it's about loyalty, betrayal, and the cost of finally speaking the truth. For so long, she has tried to balance the impossible, keeping both brothers close while convincing herself that love could somehow survive the wreckage. But the trailer makes it clear. Episode 8 is not about keeping the peace. It's about burning it all down. Every unspoken word, every hidden feeling, every buried regret comes crashing into the open. Belly stands at the center of a storm she created, and the boys she loves are now forced to fight for themselves, not for her. What makes this so brutal is the fact that Belly doesn't walk into this with innocence anymore. She knows what she's doing. When she finally makes her move, it feels like a betrayal no matter who she chooses. Because the truth is, in saving her own heart, she destroys theirs. Episode 8 pulls no punches. You can feel it in the pacing, in the silence between words, in the way both brothers begin to unravel as Belly pushes them to the edge. Jeremiah, the boy who has always worn his heart on his sleeve, is left questioning whether love was ever real between them, or if Belly was always holding on to something she never intended to give. His pain is raw, it's unfiltered, and it could break him in a way that no one can repair. Conrad, on the other hand, doesn't lash out with words. His silence is heavier, more dangerous, the kind that feels like it could swallow him whole. The trailer hints that his heartbreak doesn't just wound him, it changes him. He becomes cold, almost unreachable, and that shift could set the stage for a future where Conrad is no longer the same boy Belly once loved. And yet, there's something even more haunting beneath the surface. Because this isn't just about romance. It's about the Fisher family, the summer house, and the entire foundation of what these characters have built together. The house that once symbolized love, family, and belonging now becomes a graveyard of broken promises. Belly's decision poisons the memories they all cherished. What was once a safe place now carries the weight of betrayal. Every room, every corner, every glance is a reminder that nothing will ever be the same. Episode 8 doesn't just end a summer, it ends an era. But maybe the cruelest twist is this. Belly doesn't walk away untouched. She may think she's choosing love, but the cost is unbearable. By breaking the brothers apart, she ends up losing more than she could ever imagine. Because when the dust settles, when the shouting stops and the tears dry, Belly is left standing in the ruins of what she once wanted most, a life filled with love and connection. Now all that remains is the silence of two brothers who may never forgive her. The trailer shows us glimpses of Belly's devastation, her realization that winning comes with its own kind of loss. And this loss, it cuts deeper than anything she's faced before. So episode 8 is not the happy ending fans hoped for. It is the cruel, unforgettable turning point that changes everything. It's a story of love twisted into heartbreak, of choices that destroy instead of heal, and of a girl who wanted it all, but ends up with nothing. And yet, the brilliance of this moment lies in its tragedy. Because the show dares to ask, can love survive when trust has been shattered, or does heartbreak always leave scars too deep to heal? And so we arrive at the breaking point. Everything that's been building, everything that's been simmering just beneath the surface, it all explodes in episode 8. Belly's choices have not only destroyed the fragile balance between Conrad and Jeremiah, but have left her own heart hanging in the wreckage. This finale doesn't just close a chapter, it tears open every wound and forces the characters to face who they really are when there's no more hiding. The trailer suggests this will be the most brutal, emotionally charged moment of the entire season, and fans aren't prepared for the fallout. Because once trust is shattered, once love is betrayed, there's no simple way back. Belly may have believed she could juggle her heart between the brothers, but by the end of this episode, she will discover that loving them both means losing them both. The haunting silence that follows the final fight in the trailer says it all. There are no winners in this story, only scars. But is this the end of Belly's journey, or just the beginning of something darker? The series has always thrived on the push and pull of heartbreak, but this time the stakes feel higher, the pain sharper, and the consequences irreversible. The brothers may walk away from her, but will they ever forgive her? And more importantly, will Belly ever forgive herself? Because when you've broken the only people who ever truly loved you, what's left to hold on to? The trailer ends on a cliffhanger that feels like a goodbye, but in the world of Cousins Beach, goodbyes are never permanent. They linger, they haunt, and they come back to destroy you when you least expect it. The fans are already debating what's next. Will Conrad finally shut his heart off forever? Will Jeremiah turn his back on Belly? Or will there be one last chance to repair what's been broken? Nobody knows, and that's what makes this finale so terrifyingly beautiful. It forces us to confront the messy truth about love. It's not always about choosing the right person. Sometimes it's about surviving the wrong choices. And episode 8 doesn't give us comfort. It doesn't let us breathe. It leaves us shattered, just like Belly, just like the brothers, staring into the wreckage of what once was, and wondering if love can ever be enough again. This is not just a finale, it's a warning. A reminder that love, no matter how sweet, can also be the thing that destroys you. And Belly's story has never felt more real, more painful, or more unforgettable than it does now. Episode 8 doesn't just end Season 3, it breaks it wide open, leaving every fan desperate, heartbroken, and waiting for answers that may never come.